Hello, I am glad to be among you today in Africa Health ExCon Oncology Agenda. I'm very thankful to the organizers, to Professor Hussein Khalid and Professor Mehmet Matar and all the leaders and who doing a lot for this conference. Today is the title is art of choosing therapeutic modalities, pharmacoeconomic and cancer therapy. I am Ahmed Elzawawy. I'm sorry that my voice is, I'm a little bit sick today. I'm sorry for that. Be game changer in global oncology. Example of scientific exploration for resource-saving, better value cancer care. I'm past president of Aortic African Organization for Research and Training in Cancer, and share win-win initiative Global Oncology University, and Global Oncology in Implementing Science. Founder and president of ICDOC, International Campaign for Establishment and Development of Oncology Center, Texas, USA. Professor of Clinical Oncology, Suez Canal University, and chairman of Al Suleiman Radiation and Clinical Oncology Center, Port Said, Egypt. Here is my emails and web. Please contact me if you have any inquiries. And also the slides of this presentation is available. Are available. So if you just send to me, I sent to you in order that you can copy the links that I have to have a copy of it to have more details. Welcome all. The title, original title is that I like always to tackle, but it will take for me 3-4 days. So I didn't invent anything. All published by all. So I make a compact or comprehensive short presentation of 20 minutes to present short scientific points with reference and for more detailed an example of hundreds of scientific approaches to increase affordability of better value cancer care via science. It's based mainly on chapter 15. I am the author of the chapter. It is an editor of this book, Approaching Global Oncology, our co-editor, with participation of more than 100 authors, and including the past president of Uruguay and presidents of UICC and others, and leaders of ASCO, ESMO, and ISTRO, and many. I don't take disclosure of interest, none. I don't take fees for any lecture or financial support from any. I am aligned only to what would be beneficial to millions of patients with cancer, regardless who they are or where they are. I didn't invent anything here. Despite, as you know, despite of conference, organization, society declaration, hundreds of publications, the gap for the affordability of better of cancer care is increasing in the world, in rich countries, and too much to more tragic degrees in low middle-income countries without evidence of improvement of the upcoming year. In the upcoming year, health system would not collapse with a skyrocketing rise in the total cost of cancer care that do not commensurate with the increase of patient-centered outcome and affordability of better value cancer care in the world. Are we going to continue like this in the world? The problem is not in the excellent player, but in the game. So we have proposed, and we are working in game changer in global oncology courses with ESCO. ESCO goes international webinar entitled Game Changer in Global Oncology, and certificates also. Who would like to join? COIS is the first world virtual or professional cancer education program, free for all, focused exclusively on scientific approaches to lower total cost of care without compromising the outcome and to increase its affordability. Kindly invite all colleagues. Here is the links, and I send you if you like a slide on your demand, so you can copy this link and you can register and all. Do you imagine that the American Board of Internal Medicine finds that this include oncology societies have generated a list of more than one of 550 examples of unnecessary and low value services. Imagine this. The big question is it scientifically feasible to lower remarkably the total cost of cancer care without compromising the outcome on patient? Yes, yes, yes. There are 10 of these exist published examples, and it is stimulating for unlimited number of sites. We adopted the flexibility of thoughts and free flow ideas, classic innovative approach that all focus on scientific and practical implementation. Here's of some example of many stimulating articles. Why all randomized control trials produce biased results? It's by Alexander Cross. It's published here, the Annals of Medicine. The key message is the randomized trials face a range of strong assumptions, biases, and limitations that have not yet all been thoroughly discussed in the literature. The study assessed some world-renowned trials, and it shows more generally that the trial inevitably produce bias. David Kerr and Ahmed Zawawi in target therapy manufacturer sponsored bias in economic analysis methods with nature of review. There's here references. Since also other example of you may be shocking also sometimes, but it's true. Since the year 2008 until now, it has been have been announced and published in many references. The end of quality movement in healthcare. Many resources were wasted in such old movement, but in our low middle income countries, who listen? This is the end of quality improvement movement. It's clear. Long live improving value. Don't take it personally, but it is means that all what is done, what is done present in many countries, authority of quality and money and salaries and supervisors and certificate of quality for healthcare. This finished since years. It's waste of resources. There are other things there. The third revolution in health, it is value. And now we are living in the fourth revolution of health, of scientific revolution. Don't follow all things which that proved failure. Not me who said, don't discuss with me, but discuss with the authors. There are many authors who published this. I didn't invent anything. Here some reference, if you like, better value chemotherapy, chapter 6. Also, it is in the book, How to Get Better Value Cancer Care, Oxford, by Seymour Gray and David Kerr. Ahmed Zawawi, Science, Affordability of Cancer Drugs and Radiotherapy in the World. You will find this open access. You will find many scientific approaches with hundreds of references in our book, last book, Approaching Global Oncology, the Win-Win Model. Here is the link. Global Oncology Implementing Science. There are more than 100 lectures, open access. The link is there. Kindly invite all colleagues. Here is the link to the webinars. Here is the ASCO webinars. Here is the links to evaluation form. If you like to get certificate of game changer in oncology, ASCO guys, ASCO. Right, just write to me or just send to me an email, and I'll send you all inquiries. President of the whole series. It is Professor Roman Zoon, immediate past president of ASCO. The chair are many distinguished professors, including Professor Hussein Khalid, who is one of the co-founder and co-leader of all these initiatives. This include systemic cancer therapy, radiotherapy, valuable input in leading industry, important editor, and include also brachytherapy, important editors and editors in chief. Link to outline to the fourth and fifth ASCO goals webinars. You'll find many examples. I sit here some example only. I sit here. Here is some example of tens. It decreases the need of chemotherapy and hospitalizations, outpatient regime, some unknown oral cancer drugs, example of new oral cancer drug like oral taxanes, development of other chemotherapy routes like transdermal administration for stradio in prostate cancer, nebulizer in cisplatin, pharmacokinetic studies that have been taking place with the aim of lowering the drug dose and therefore the cost by changing the infusion regime, wrong infusion of low dose gemcitabine, like Professor Hussein Khalid et al. Less frequent cycle with comparable efficacy, as you know, zoledronic, zomita, nivolumab, atezolizumab. Here, Goldstein and Rattan searches for the right dose and frequency till now for that by using therapeutic drug monitoring. Pempero, also, to reduce the dose and cycles. A plea from Mark Rattan and Alan Lichter to empower FDA to revisit, to repair indications and doses of drugs approved by them, unfortunately, become parts of all known guidelines. Example of proposal of scientific studies that aim to lower the dose while having the same comparable efficacy. Although FDA has done so for several drugs, the vast majority of oncology drugs over the last decades have been developed and approved at their maximally tolerated dose, leading to off-target adverse events that may be fatal, as in the case of ibrutinib, used in patients with chronic lymphocytic leukemia, erlotinib, dasatinib, pembro. Finally, after many publication and presentation, and pleased by many experts, including us in our books, in our international lecture and other, that we cited here in our books, a great news, Project Optimus, by the FDA for reforming the dose optimization and dose selection paradigm in oncology and indication. However, according to Professor Ian Tannock, unfortunately, the FDA will apply that correction for what will come and not for the previously approved. This is not nice. Value-based describing strategies do not compromise outcomes that do not for new oncology drugs alone could save $12 billion annually in the United States only, and more globally. Professor David Kerr is his lecture, Optimizing Dose Selection for Cancer Medicine, Professor Tannock, wonderful lecture for him, by him. This is the link. Example of dose reduction using food effects and drugs interactions through pharmacokinetic based studies. Here is the reference. Lapitanib, as you know, take care in converting from 1,250 milligram with fasting to 500 with food. Abiraterone, as you know, converting from 1,000 with fasting to 250 milligram with food. One-fourth the cost. And less toxicities. Pazopanib converting from 800 milligram to with fasting 600 milligram with food. There are many examples like Vinkel-Lixta is interesting really, fat capsule converting from 400 milligram or 600 milligram to 70 milligram daily when taken with 300 milligram pazoconazole. In some other drugs, scientifically possible to reduce the cost of scientific drug way by 70-80%. Without compromise the outcomes. There are many references here. Please refer to them and read them. Evidence-based medicine, yes, it's reduced unless toxic pathway. You imagine that, unfortunately, it has been reported. You imagine the number. That 58% of potentially fatal adverse events are not listed in the initial US FDA drug label, and 38% are not reported in any published randomized trial published in very respectable journal. It's crime because even us, doctors, don't know this side effect is hidden. How we can manage well? Bash stated that the voice of patient is missing in drug safety reporting. And this is one cause of the cause of hospitalization and increase of this increased toxicity and increase of what? Increase of costs. Pharmacogenomic studies and value-based treatment. In fact, once again, not every exciting scientific finding can be translated into the same expected clinical value in short and long-term clinical research trials. So don't copy. In all countries the same. No, it's not the same. We don't know. Should be proven. Should be proved. Counterfeit. I would like to say that please, please don't copy renowned guidelines as they are, and please, please don't mix some guidelines together as cocktail and just edit them in what we can call regional or country guidelines, our own country guidelines. Not that easy. Counterfeit medicine is worth 200 billion US dollar, cause 1 million deaths annually in the world. Are there proposals even partial or that for that? Yes, but we listen. The Missed Global Campaign, the fight against counterfeit medicine. This link to a nice lecture about short lecture about it. I prepare for you if you like. Generic equivalent of biosimilar cancer drug therapy. I link the slides about generic and bioequivalent, repurposing and repositioning, the full record of the first ASCO-GOIS international webinar about repurposing. Finally, is it logic to think about repairing the health system and cancer care to save costs due to abuse, waste, and corruption without repairing remuneration of oncologists and professional cancer doctors, their good living and career, while avoiding ethical conflict? The second proposal is to adopt a clinical pathway in which the fees of practice are paid disease management. You manage Hodgkin lymphoma case. You see the case, so you take your fees, regardless what you prescribe. It is you are consultant. This is management. You are a resident, or whoever you are, or wherever you are. You take your convenient fees for that, and not based on the price of prescribed chemotherapy. Believe me, all will gain from that, even governments. And this other, like that's what we call also the pay à l'acte, pay for the intervention. Pay à l'acte is French term for the intervention. Once again, is it possible to increase affordability of better value cancer care via science? Is yes, if there is well, yes, but it needs all of you. Please send us your feedback, suggestion, comments, and even constructive critics. Register to voice if you like. Welcome all, and thank you. Thank you all, and bye-bye.